Everyone holds the power within to change their own life. Sometimes we need a little guidance. RADA is a non-profit company founded to empower people to help themselves. An acronym for rape, alcohol, drug and abuse. RADA has launched a new and exciting campaign, RADA Inspire, designed to encourage ordinary citizens to make a difference. You don't have to be exceptional. All it takes is to do one small thing differently, and by improving, you raise your resonance, creating a ripple effect of positive change. We don't have to stand tall, but it is important that we stand up and take action. Become a RADA angel. Visit www.rada.co.za or share your story with us using hashtag RADAInspire.
Good morning, folks, and welcome back to the second season of RADA Inspire on brandlife.co.za. So we're so glad to be back. I know we've had a little bit of a 2-month break, and we're ready for the month of March to kick off the RADA Inspire campaign again for the next 10 months. So just looking back, last year we had some great guests in studio. We had JP Nobrega, who's the founder and CEO of RADA. We had Ashlyn Gray, who was here for Heritage Month, and she spoke. She did some greetings in a few different languages. We also had Donovan Michael from the RADA Training Academy. Now, Donovan was actually supposed to join me this morning as my co-host, but unfortunately, Donovan has the flu and he's stuck in bed. So we'll forgive him for this time, and next month we'll basically welcome him back. So, in terms of RADA Inspire, last year we launched this unprecedented campaign, and we had no idea how successful it would be. And just, the feedback and the commentary that we've had has been so great. So we decided, okay, let's make this an annual project. If every year on the year we launch the 10-month campaign, running from March to December, and we just inspire the nation to live better, healthier lives. Cool. So this morning I have with me Kirsten Clare in studio. Kirsten, how are you?
How's it? Good, thanks, and yourself?
Good. Cool. So Kirsten Clare recorded a cover of Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer for the RADA Inspire album, which is actually out now on iTunes, on Deezer, on Spotify, on basically all your streaming platforms. And the whole concept of the RADA Inspire album was to basically, through music, inspire people to, we think music speaks to everybody, and we just wanted to use music as a vehicle to send our message out there into the world. So, Kirsten, first of all, let's start from the beginning. Tell me a little bit about how you became involved with RADA.
So I've been singing for as long as I can remember, basically. I'm definitely a passion performer. I love music. I love music more than anything in the entire world. And when I was approached by RADA, funny enough, it was actually through Mark Beeling. I used to record with Mark Beeling, and I was kind of going full force into being on radio and doing all of that, and just found that, kind of mainstream wasn't really for me. And Mark Beeling really believed in me and, kind of worked on the passion projects with me. And JP came into studio one day and he heard me and he was like, hi. And I was like, hi. And he was like, there's this thing. Do you want to be involved? And the minute he said it had to do with, charity and healing through music, I was automatically in. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got involved.
That's fantastic. And so Mark Beeling was actually featured on our first album, RADA on Earth Volume 1, as yourself.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about the song that featured on RADA on Earth?
Yeah, very cool. So it was actually written by Mark Beeling as well, the one that was featured. And yeah, very cool. Just an awesome process. I mean, as far as, I've gone so far, RADA's been an amazing kind of group of people to work with. Howie as well, the head lab. Everyone's been incredible, and they've let me kind of live my arty side of it without having to be kind of put in a box of what someone wanted. They kind of wanted me as I was, which a lot of people in the industry don't want. So I was very appreciative of that, and that's why no matter how hectic my life gets, if there's something to do with RADA, I'm always in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think, that is the message that we are, as RADA, are trying to convey is be yourself.
100%.
It's okay to be yourself. So.
And also music is, I mean, I've said this a million times and it's such a cliche, but music is an international language. You know, regardless of where you are in the world, people feel that, you know. And I think as South Africans, we grew up with, like, you know, out of a beatbox, you know,
Yes.
like music is so influential in our country. And I think that we're one of the most passionate countries when it comes to music. So yeah, I think it's amazing that we can share that on a platform that everybody understands what it's about, and everybody can appreciate it, no matter how old they are, no matter what race they are, what culture they are. Everyone's involved, and that's what makes it successful.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and that was obviously our intention from the get-go.
Yeah.
And, you know, we mentioned that music has the power to heal.
Yeah.
Is that something that you use in your own life?
100%. I suffer very badly from anxiety and depression. I think a lot of artist types do.
Yes.
A-type personalities, you're hectic, you know, so it happens. But 100% music is, and I think that's why I keep it as my passion and my hobby rather than my full-time, because as a full-time, there's pressure to always produce what people want. Whereas as a passion project, you can give 100% of your soul into something, and it's not being ripped apart every day. So I know that's a little bit of a, you know, different look on things. A lot of people don't agree with that. But that's kind of my look, you know, my look at it. And I think it's amazing. Music's been there for me when the world wasn't. Yeah. So yeah. Definitely.
No, I 100% agree with you. You know, you're coming from different perspectives, obviously, but you know, at the end of the day, music still, if you do it full time, it becomes a business, and you have to look at it from a business perspective.
Exactly.
And then you also don't, when you're doing that, you don't want to lose heart.
Yeah. And the thing is, no matter how authentic you are in the beginning, it changes. I mean, you know, you have to have a PR team, and you have to have a stylist, and you have to have this, and you have to have that. And it's just, there's so much pressure on young people of today to be so many things. And it's very, very hard to have your passion ripped apart, or not even ripped apart, but different. You know, people want different things from you, and it's I think my authenticity stems from the fact that I don't do it every day.
Yes.
You know, I would love to wake up and do it every day, but I would rather not lose music's my saving grace. So I don't want to lose that trying to make money off it. Do you know what I mean?
I get you, yeah. And I think that comes through in your music as well. You know, we were talking about that other single, Let It Go, which is on RADA Unearthed Volume 1. But now, obviously, with RADA Inspire, we took a different approach. You know, RADA Unearthed was basically about unearthing artists and giving them a platform, whereas RADA Inspire, we decided we wanted to take classic songs, and just re-record them by essays top artists. And like, we think everybody on the album has done an absolutely fantastic job.
Thank you. I think so too.
And I am going to talk more to you about that in a moment, but I actually just want to give the listeners a bit of a feel of the song that you did, and then we can have a listen. We can have a chat about it. So
sounds good.
Yes, Kirsten's Claire, Living on a Prayer.
Tommy used to work
Everyone holds the power within to change their own life. Sometimes we need a little guidance. RADA is a non-profit company founded to empower people to help themselves. An acronym for rape, alcohol, drug and abuse. RADA has launched a new and exciting campaign, RADA Inspire, designed to encourage ordinary citizens to make a difference. You don't have to be exceptional. All it takes is to do one small thing differently, and by improving, you raise your resonance, creating a ripple effect of positive change. We don't have to stand tall, but it is important that we stand up and take action. Become a RADA Angel. Visit www.rada.co.za or share your story with us using hashtag RADAInspire.
So there you have it, folks. That was Kirsten Clare with her cover of Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer. So, I mean, you know, we've been talking a lot about RADA Inspire and the different 10-month campaigns that we're looking at doing for the next 10 months of 2019. And for March, we actually have Taxi and Road Rage Awareness Month, which we know is quite a controversial topic, as we did address this last year as well. But we do think it's something very important. And one of the activations that we held this year, just to create a little bit of awareness and a change in perspective for people using the roads on a daily basis, we held the Celebrity Taxi Dash across the city. And one of the participants that took part of that Taxi Dash was Howie Combrink, and he's in studio now. Welcome, Howie.
What's happening, Jen?
How's it going?
Very good, very good. Good to be here.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming through.
I used to hang out in this area about 15 years ago. This was my playing ground.
When we were students.
Yeah, it's all changed though. Jeez, I even got lost.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming through. We really do appreciate it. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about your experience, in the Celebrity Taxi Dash, because I take it you're not somebody who uses taxis on a daily basis?
No, well, to be honest, I'd never actually used the local taxi services ever in my life before the Taxi Dash. So it was a first for me. It was a great experience. Obviously, I've done Uber and I've done cabs and that sort of stuff, but I've never actually had to hire a taxi. You see, I've never had to sort of like wave down a taxi or sort of go and figure my way around a taxi rank, and it was a very eye-opening experience, I must say. Okay.
So, I mean, talking about that, you say eye-opening experience. What kind of things happened to you during that day that was like, wow, I had no idea that this is what people do on a daily basis? Because we're talking about commuters, people that are taking taxis on a daily basis.
Well, so, one of the things for me that that was sort of a bit different, and it was a case of we got to the Randburg taxi rank, and we had to find our lot to see which taxi we could take to the next destination, and we obviously tried to find a preferred direct route, which was quite difficult to find, but fortunately the first location was on a very main road, so we were actually able to find a direct route. But what happened was we sort of ran sweating up to the the taxi driver, and a lot of the patrons and stuff were looking at us like, why the hell are these guys sweating? There's a camera behind them and stuff. So we sort of like half explaining, listen, we're doing this thing. And what I found to be quite frustrating from the experience was we eventually got this taxi, which was in front of the lot. So it was the first one to go out. But this taxi driver was not prepared to leave unless the taxi was completely full.
And that's exactly how they work.
So we sat there for about 40 minutes or so, half an hour, 40 minutes. And all the other teams literally just ran away from us from the first stop. We were watching them jump taxis in the main road, and some of the guys had previously used taxis, so they knew how to operate the system. And myself and Dave Levinson was my partner in crime, and him being a comedian as well was quite an awesome experience, because there was a running commentary throughout the whole experience. Jokes all along the way, and he was quite cool with involving a lot of the people in the taxi and in the discussions. And some people were slightly hostile, wondering like, what are we actually doing, and sometimes it's hard to explain because the camera's rolling. But it was a great experience all in all, and that was one of the things for me. We literally lost 40 minutes. So, I think of it like at the studio, I've got guys that use public transport to get there, and they've often said to me, I'm sitting in the taxi and the taxi doesn't want to leave, and they arrive 40 minutes to an hour late. And in the past, I've been quite frustrated by that, but it happened the other day. I think it was on Friday. It was the day after the taxi dash, where one of the guys in the studio called me up and said, listen, I'm sitting in the taxi, he's not leaving, I'm going to be late. And for the first time in my life, I actually understood exactly what he was saying.
Exactly.
And I had patience and what have you, you know. But I mean, that's just the start of the journey.
Yeah.
You know, the journey was quite interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, that is fantastic. I've actually got goosebumps sitting here, because that is exactly what we are trying to do as RADA, is to change people's perspective. And you, as somebody who doesn't use public transport, having that experience, now you know what it's like, and like you say, you can have more patience, because a lot of the time, you know, our aggression and that comes from a lack of understanding. So what we are trying to do is create that understanding. So maybe just to fill our listeners in a little bit, the Taxi Dash was basically run like an amazing race. We had 5 different groups which met at one location, and they got given an envelope to get to another destination. And by means of using taxis as transport, they got given a little bit of taxi fare, and they were basically racing around to get to the final destination first. Now, I think you guys came fourth or so.
We came fourth, yeah. It was the final. We sort of made up time on the final location, and that was purely just because of my knowledge of the area where the final location was. It was the RADA conference center where we had to eventually meet up at, and I'm quite familiar with the area, having gone to the conference center a couple of times. So eventually I sort of went, well, I mean, before that we stood on the side of William Nicol. We first spoke to a taxi driver that was parked under a tree busy washing his taxi. So we went up to him and said, listen, we need to get to this location, blah, blah, blah. We stood, 7 taxis drove past us on William Nicol. We tried to wave them down. We tried to stop them. They didn't stop, but they were full. And there we lost another 25, 30 minutes. At that point, some of the people in the other groups were messaging us and saying, where are you guys and what's going on? And so once again, you know, I mean, look, I suppose if you use it every day, you figure out your routine with regards to what taxis do and how, you know, which direction which guys go. And it's quite jurisdiction based, you know. Certain taxi drivers can't go into certain areas because it's not their jurisdiction,
Exactly,
you know, it's
yeah.
not their business. So a lot of that was and you know, the crazy thing is South Africa is quite one of the other things I actually realized about this is that South Africa is quite a bribe orientated nation per se. If you look at what's going on, you know, with police services, and it's completely wrong and not right, but our police services, a lot of the cops do get away with bribery and all sorts of corruption and stuff. However, the people that the nation gets most upset with, the taxi drivers, are not into bribery.
Yeah.
They are really not to my experience. Because at one point we were so far behind everyone. I was like resorting to all sorts of means where we were trying to offer taxi drivers like bigger, higher rates to get us to certain locations quicker. And these guys were like, nah,
Yeah.
it ain't going to happen. You're going to
That's
wait.
fantastic.
You know, we try to
Yes.
hire our own taxi at a point,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And for me, that was also an amazing thing, you know. And a lot of the guys that we met, a lot of the other taxi drivers and stuff, stand-up guys, really good guys that are just trying to get people from point A to point B, you know.
Exactly.
And the guests that are in the taxi at the time, they don't particularly care whether or not the taxi driver cuts a corner or jumps an island or whatever. They just need to get to work on time.
Exactly.
So that they don't,
yeah.
that was the biggest thing for us, was can we get to work on
Yeah.
time? And both Dave Levinson and myself would have lost our jobs.
I remember you did give me a call saying
Yeah.
you would be late.
Yeah, I've lost my job, and so it was really cool. And all of a sudden you find yourself sitting in that taxi saying, yo, dude, jump the island. We late. We need to do a U-turn. Like,
You were
go
put in
for
that
it.
position as a normal commuter trying to get to work on time, which absolutely makes sense. And I think that's also something that a message that we are trying to convey is that, you know, taxis are transporting a majority of the nation, getting them to work every single day. And we are not in no way condoning illegal behavior. That
Yeah.
is not what we're trying to do. But what we're trying to do is just create a little bit of understanding of what a taxi driver's life is like and
Yes.
the work that they are actually contributing to the economy at the
And the
end
pressures
of the day.
of what they've got to do in order to actually make a living.
Exactly.
The amount of rides they have to do in order to just make a small living.
Mm.
It's really unreal, and you don't quite understand it until you put yourself in that position.
Mm.
And with this taxi dash, that is what happened with us. We
Yeah.
got put in that position, and it was a great day. I mean, it was really, what's one person's daily commute was our adventure,
Mm.
and it was quite an adventure. All of us were sweating, and I was like, geez, if I had to do this every day, I don't know how I'd live.
Mm.
So there's definitely a much better understanding now to what daily commuters are doing in the taxi realms, and
Mm.
you have to have sympathy, man. You absolutely have to have sympathy, because this is what people are doing just to get
Mm.
to work and to make a living,
Exactly, yeah. Now, I'd love to speak about this all day, but unfortunately, we have run out of time. So just to fill everybody in, the Taxi Dash was filmed, and we are going to be releasing a video next week. So all those highlights can be found online. So it's going to be available on RADA Inspirational YouTube channel. You can also visit the mother website, oh my goodness, which is www.rada.co.za. And then obviously our social media, RADA Healing and RADA Unearthed, everything will be posted on there. So thank you so much for listening to us, and we'll be back next month talking about the service industry. And we look forward to meeting again. So we're playing out with We Stand Together.
I'll be your rock till the end. I will not move, I'll be there.
Deep down, we're all just the same. We stand together.
We go beyond if we break. Nothing could put out the flames.
Deep down, we're all just the same. We stand together.
Take my hand together, let's move forward. Hold me now, I won't let go.
We stand together. We stand together. There's more to what we've been told. We're all connected and close.
You're hurt and nobody knows. Open up your mind and you grow.
Do nothing, tragedy wins. The only way to begin is that injustice step in. Your words will save
Take my hand together, let's move forward. Hold me now, I won't let go.
try to